In the previous video, we showed how to track your trust balance and daily earnings inside the app. Now, let's answer the next question. Where does Reinforce yield actually come from? For the user, the experience stays simple. You hold one trust balance. You can deposit USDT when you want to add funds. You can withdraw when you want to go back to USDT. Behind that simple balance, Reinforce operates a yield engine in the background. The yield engine is the part of Reinforce that looks for stablecoin yield opportunities. Instead of asking the user to choose protocols, compare rates, or move funds manually, Reinforce handles allocation, monitoring, and rebalancing behind the scenes. The result is shown to the user as a simple trust balance. To see the data behind the product, open the menu and go to Proof. This is where Reinforce shows reserve, yield, and allocation data inside the dApp. The first number is the trust backing ratio. In simple terms, this shows whether the trust supply is backed by reserves. When the number is above 100%, it means the tracked reserves are higher than the issued trust supply. So users can see that trust is not just a number on the screen. It is supported by reserve data. Trust supply shows how much trust has been issued. 24-hour APY shows the recent yield level over the last day. It is not a fixed promise. It can change with market conditions. Reserve excess shows the extra reserve amount above the issued supply. And the update time shows when this data was last refreshed. Next, the yield source mix shows where tracked capital is currently allocated. This is not a demo screen. It shows the live strategy mix inside the product. Here, users can see which strategy is being used, what share of the tracked capital it represents, and how much capital is currently tracked in that allocation. The simple explanation is this. Reinforce allocates stablecoin capital into selected yield strategies. Those strategies generate returns from market opportunities such as stablecoin lending or other market-neutral yield sources. The yield generated by those strategies supports the growth of trust balances. The user does not need to choose the strategy manually. Reinforce manages that process. The allocation can change over time. If one opportunity becomes less attractive or another becomes better, Reinforce can rebalance. That is why yield is not fixed. The product is designed to adapt to market conditions while keeping the user experience simple. Supply by network shows how trust supply is distributed across supported chains. For users who deposit TRC20 USDT, Tron is the key network in the current flow. This section helps users see how the supply is represented across networks. This matters because yield should be understandable. Users should be able to see the reserves behind trust. They should be able to see the recent APY. And they should be able to see where tracked capital is allocated. Reinforce keeps the interface simple but still gives users data to understand what is happening underneath. The user doesn't need to choose protocols. The user doesn't need to move funds between strategies. The user doesn't need to monitor rates every day. Reinforce turns that complexity into one simple trust balance. So the simple model is: Portfolio shows your current trust balance. Proof shows reserve and allocation data. Backing ratio shows whether trust is supported by reserves. 24-hour APY shows recent yield. Yield source mix shows where tracked capital is allocated, and Reinforce manages the strategy process in the background. Now you know where Reinforce yield comes from at a high level, and where to check the data inside the dApp.